Wind finally laid. Hope that's kind of hard on you
A little bit.
when
That's
it's
why I had the
blowing
mic
30 or
out here.
40 for 5 days in a row.
Oh yeah. Okay, you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What is your first and last name?
I'm Tommy Moore, Navigation District Commissioner at Large with the Aransas County Navigation District.
Perfect. And Tommy, can you tell us a little bit of why you're not in support of this, project and some of those reductions in the park?
We'll kind of start from the beginning. Around 2004, 2005, we had some major rainfall and it wiped out the grasses in Little Bay with sedimentation and other pollutants. We've done studies, the Navigation District's done studies, done environmental, that came through and showed that that is what happened. And the alarm went off. And a lot of concerned citizens, we have very many citizens that really intend on protecting this environment around us because it's so fragile. That's why everybody comes here. And so we started talking about it and how to get rid of the siltation in our water systems. About 2010, we formed the Aransas County Stormwater Management Committee. That management committee started off, and once again, we talked about getting rid of siltation, designing systems, the whole goal. We've got a lot of development coming, and we should come up with a plan so that the developers can pay for their water situation and their water systems so that the county doesn't have to because they were having to go in and fix things. So that's kind of how that all got started. So and then in 2011 they put out their master stormwater management plan, and the whole thing was centered around getting rid of the pollutants, sediment, trash, hydrocarbons, and everything else that comes out. So after 17 years of talking about this, the city comes up with a plan that has absolutely no stormwater pollution prevention, none whatsoever. The Navigation District heard it was coming. We said we'd like to be involved. We got a letter back that said you're not going to be involved, and so we kicked back and waited. And 2 years ago, it came to a head. We got the public together and informed them all, and there was a pushback. And about the same time, the contractor that the city had hired had some problems and disappeared on them. Okay, so we had a 2-year sabbatical, and we tried to talk to them a little bit. They weren't very interested. We did have a discussion with one of the council members, and some things were told that didn't work out, but that's the way they were. And so we just kind of sit back. The Navigation District about a month ago said we need to start talking to the city because it's coming. You can see these courthouse and the city hall here. All that drainage is going to come into this same spot. And lo and behold, the next thing that happened was we got the information that they were going to intended to condemn the right-of-way through this park to get to it. And the big thing I want to say, it's not the park. That gentleman that we talked to a little earlier, the veteran, it's the park to him. And I understand that, and I'll support him on that. But the big deal is stormwater pollution. How do you do that after you've known so long that that's not the way to do it? And everybody has told them, do it right, do it right, do it right. Now we've come to another head. So that's where we're going. We want to let the folks know about the history. I don't know why they made the decisions that they did and are doing. On the other hand, I think we've got a positive path forward, and that's what I'm going to push for. There are systems, one of them is installed in Aransas County down by Bahia Bay, that will filter this much water, and multiples can filter even more water. So there's some solutions. They're pretty cost effective. We think there's some resources out there that will help us get this paid for, and we're just going to ask the city to work with us, and let's move forward and stop saying we're just barreling through, because that's not what's good for the county.
Absolutely. And did you or anybody else who's concerned about this ever go to the council meeting basically during the public hearing?
Oh, well, I'm glad you asked. The day of the last meeting when they were supposed to vote, it was last Tuesday when they were supposed to vote on condemnation, our chairman and our vice chairman went and talked to the city manager, Vanessa Strauner, and they came back and said they've made some concessions. They were going to take responsibility for any damage, including sedimentation in the harbor. This was a really big step, okay? Well, I was totally prepared to go speak, and I had a whole lot of citizens that were going to go speak. And one of the things she also said, or indicated to them, that she was going to wait on the vote. So I was ready to go speak at Citizens Be Heard, and I started thinking, Why stir that up if we're heading down a good road? Maybe we're going somewhere. So we didn't show up, and I think you were at the city council meeting and you saw how the people that really don't care about our environment very much reacted and pushed it through and voted unanimously to condemn the property and go ahead and put a substandard solution in.
Absolutely. And can you speak a little bit of how this is going to affect the harbor?
The big thing about the harbors is the sedimentation. We've done multiple, they call them bathymetric surveys, bottom surveys. Right after the storm, we did some dredging, and we had the pre and post dredging. And then when this all came up 2 years ago, we said, well, let's go see what has happened since we had some big rains in between then. And sure enough, it's a little, but it's sedimentation. So the system is bringing it in. Now that's the old system. You got to live with that, okay? But when you design a brand new system and everybody's talking about the right way to do a solution and you don't do it, that's irresponsible.
Absolutely. And you've been a resident here of Rock Park for a very long time.
I've lived here since '03.
Okay, so you've seen how, not only how businesses have came here and have helped the community, but you've also seen the erosion that's been happening in this area.
Absolutely, and what's coming up next is Little Bay and the erosion and the siltation of Little Bay. We've got a lot of problems over there. I want to focus on this right now so that we can get on the right track and everybody knows we're going to move forward responsibly. But the changes, absolutely, and one of the things on this drainage, there's a lot of undeveloped ground up there in that 160 acres, so it's going to be more water than it is now. And so it's just time to do it right. And there's some solutions that we can retrofit, and I think we can come to that.
Absolutely. And why is it so critical, that the city and the residents work to, make sure that this area isn't eroded in the future?
Well, and let's call it degradation, and we're doing things for erosion as per se. But as degradation, we have the prettiest place on the Texas coast, and our waters were pristine. Little Bay, up until 2004, 2005, had thousands of ducks in it. There was lots of vegetation, and now it's all gone, and it's because of stormwater and it not being treated and coming through. In July 22, I believe we had a brutal rain, flooded the whole country club. The culverts weren't maintained. Now, that kind of rain, it's going to flood it no matter what. I'm the first one to admit. But let's keep our drainage systems open and do them right.
Absolutely. And I spoke with Vanessa a little earlier today. I'm going to do an interview with her later in the day. But she said that the project that they're going to do here, it's not going to affect the harbor at all. What do you have to say?
I have to say that 160 acres of untreated stormwater is a big deal, and it will affect the harbor with sediment and trash. My friend Tommy with Tommy's Bait Stand, he's called me up yesterday and said, look at all this pollution in here, and it might still be there. The pollution, trash, oil from the streets, it's known, it's very known. Our population is just under the necessary level for us to have what they call MS4, which is, I hadn't thought about it, it's separate stormwater systems from sewer. And if you have a certain population, the EPA and TCEQ says you have to put these things in. Any developer has to put a sediment catchment in. And all I'm asking is that we get ahead of this thing and keep our area as pristine as possible.
Absolutely. And is there anything else you want to mention that maybe I didn't ask you about specifically?
The whole thing to me is that so many people have worked so hard to get us to the knowledge that we have on how to do this right. And it's just a slap in the face to all those people that worked so hard to get us to this point, to just not take it into an account. And it's going to cost us in the long run. It's going to cost a lot more to put in stormwater pollution prevention now after the fact than if they'd have done it up front. And we need any citizens that are concerned about the Rockport area and our environment and all the things it brings with tourism and business, if you're concerned about it, let the city know.
Okay. All right. That's a wrap.
Thank you.
Thank you. Perfect. All right. Yes. Now, Tommy.
Yes,
are you
ma'am.
ready for your turn?
Sure.
Oh, the other Tommy.
Do you
What other
want
Tommy?
to go ahead and do it close
Deer poo or
to
rabbit poo?
your business?
Sure, I'd love
So I
to.
can
Right in
get that
front of my
back
business.
Yeah, we can go ahead and do it that way.
Palmetto.
That's it, though?
Yeah.
It's the yellow one.
Palm
All right.
seeds.
We can go ahead and head that way.
You can be surprised.
You are? Okay. I'll just go ahead.
They are everywhere. They just tore down. Speaking of tearing down, they just tore down all that stuff over in Fulton. We had 25 deer on our 7-acre property. Now there's like 60. It's just unreal. I'm like, the places I saw as a little boy that was always the sanctuaries and habitats and stuff, just wiped out, gone. And new cabins and, you know, whatever, tourist stuff, which we need the tourism. We have to have the tourism.
Yeah.
But we've got to do it right.
Yeah.
And we can only, you know, could literally only have so many people here coming to vacation. And every time I've talked to that office right there, Chamber of Commerce, they've told me their one simple deal to everything. All they care about is heads and beds. And every time we had some veterans coming in for a San Antonio trip coming in, it was a big deal, like 40 veterans coming in. Yeah, and I was, well, they had a problem with their flyer, or not their flyer. There was one digit off on a phone number that they put out on their website. So I went into there. It was the Hummingbird Festival day, and she basically threw me out of the office. I'm like, hey, I was a veteran trying to get to this, you know, camp out deal, and I can't reach the people. But you know, as veterans, we go out of our way. I found the actual guy.
Sure. No,
within-
problem solvers.
within an hour. You know, never heard of this guy. I found him within an hour. And
He was from San
yeah. And it was all homeless veterans, and they wanted to come down and fish to do, you know, fish therapy. And so I was like, hey, I'm here. I can't fish myself anymore because the way my back is, my shoulders are. I mean, I can fish for trout. Yeah, I fish for trout. I do fish. I ain't fishing for big uglies no more. I don't care. No, I ain't fishing for shark no more. Every time I catch one, do you have a pin, Tommy?
I don't. With me. Should we go see Tommy's interview?
Yeah, definitely.
Tell you what, I'll call you.
Yeah. That'd be great. Or text it to me either way. Let's go see Tommy's interview.
Oh, and while you're here, we can gripe at you.
Bring it. I love it.
We've been talking about this for a week. We want to put a vending machine over here for a 24-hour service. I put a green light in there.
Yeah.
But the floor, you'll be able to see in just a minute.
A bait vending machine?
Yeah,
Yeah.
found one.
I'm sure we would allow it.
No, I know you'd allow it. It's the dock underneath it. I don't think it's strong enough.
Really?
Yeah, no, it's just waving around.
Where do you want to put it?
I want to put it to the far left. See the white bins are on the front end there? So that the only place it could go is right there.
Well, let's go look at it here a second.
Yeah. We'll do it off camera because it's kind of...
Yeah.
Right now I'm trying to get as much roll for my YouTube channel as possible. I do YouTube fishing. It's called Fishing in Fulton.
Yeah.
I was working at that Fulton fishing pier for the longest time. That's when I actually got people to watch it.
And I own Tommy's Bait and More Bait Shop
And how long have you had
since June, since last June. But I've been saying it since I've bought this place, and I'm really concerned. Once I saw this, I'm really concerned. I wanted to talk to the city council here because of the pollution that's here. And now they want to put an untreated, storm drain into it, which is only going to bring in more pollution. And so, and this is the deal. This is why people come here. It's for this. And I just can't imagine seeing all this trash in it all the time. It's going to drive me nuts. So they've got to do something to come back. I don't know what else to say. I just can't agree with this. And so, I was trying to talk to her. They said that there is solutions. If it's treated,
Well, and enter the Admiral.
This is what brings people out here. This right here. This is the jewel. I mean, there's other things in Rockport too as well, but this is the jewel. That's why they come here. Absolutely. And the construction and the building of it, and they're gonna end up shutting it down. Yeah, it's gonna take time. So, well, they've done that. So anyway, if they do it, and they don't do it right, they're still gonna take that. So, yeah, the construction's right there.